Hi, welcome to Polyphonic Press. I'm Jeremy Boyd.
I'm John Van Dyke.
And today we're going to be talking about how music criticism has gone to shit. Here we go. So we saw this article on the Daily Beast and we had to talk about it because it's kind of our, or at least my world, is music criticism.
Especially, yes.
Yeah, music criticism. Especially because I do album reviews. And basically what it said is the article is not so much focused, music critics aren't so much focused on the actual music, but more like the lifestyles of the artists and who they're wearing and you know, what kind of shoes they have and their hairstyles and things like that. And through reading the article, I realized that when I first saw the article, I thought I thought I was going to have to defend myself. But apparently I'm the exception to the rule because I actually do talk about the music and make a point not to talk about the artist's personal life unless it affects the music in some way, like in the lyrics or something like that. And I think I kind of agree with the article in that...
Yeah, he was pretty on the nose.
Yeah. Especially if you watch shows like Entertainment Tonight or... I don't even, like, Extra, I think, is still on.
I can't stand those stupid things.
They don't talk about the actual music or the actual movies or anything like that. They're only talking about, you know, the personal lives of these stars.
Who they're dating, who they broke up with, what they were caught wearing, whether they had pants on.
Yeah,
stupid
exactly.
Stuff like that.
So I don't understand how... I guess one of the things that the article talks about was there's a person who was writing for Billboard magazine, and he left Billboard magazine because he was frustrated with the direction that it was going. And it was, he said, it's the sign of the times is celebrity culture is prevalent in our society today. And people aren't so focused on the actual art of the people, like it's movies and music. Yeah. And I feel like especially music doesn't really get the attention that I think it deserves. And I've noticed it with a lot of different...
Well, it gets all the attention, it just doesn't get the right attention. It doesn't get the analytical analysis.
Yeah.
Analytical analysis. Well, there's a redundant statement if there ever was one.
Yeah. there's a lot of communities on the internet where they focus a lot on TV shows, movies, and video games, but they don't really talk much about music. So that's kind of what I see, is that the music is kind of like a secondary thing to a lot of people. It's not so much a part of their life. It's just a part of their lives. It's not something that they focus too much on, which I think is kind of unfortunate in a lot of cases. And I think it's partly the fault of these critics who don't talk about the music the same way that people talk about movies, TV shows, and video games. You know, I think that is unfortunate because there's a lot of music out there that deserves the attention that's not just what you hear on Top 40 radio. You know, it goes beyond all of that. In fact, it
deserves more attention than what you hear on Top 40 radio.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess people are less inclined to go out and explore that territory. But I think if you do, you're going to find some stuff that's really interesting, and people have interesting things to say that isn't really being said in movies and TV shows. Some of it is, but it can go a little deeper with music.
I think it might have something to do. I mean, that might be one of the reasons why it's so hard to get, you know, a decent income being a touring musician. Could be. I think that's part of it, actually.
Could be, yeah. Yeah, because as we know, it's tough being a full-time musician.
Unless you're on a certain level in which you're like celebrity status.
Yeah. Just getting back to me, the way that I approach album reviews is I try not to rip the album apart. I try to give constructive criticism rather than saying this thing sucks or, you know, the songs aren't good or anything. I at least, if I don't like an album, I at least try to say, well, it would be better if the vocals were brought up in the mix so I could hear them better, or if the guitars were a different tone, or if the drums were louder, something like that. It's not, I don't just say this sucks, I say this isn't as good as it could be, and here's why.
He says these things about albums he likes and ones he's not too fond of.
Yeah,
both, so.
Yeah. Everyone gets a fair review. So I think that approach is I learned, and that's something I learned actually from Roger Ebert. He went into every movie expecting it, wanting it to be the best movie he's ever seen, and so that's kind of how I approach the album reviews. Is I want it to the album to blow me away. And when it doesn't, I say, well, this didn't work here, and here's why, and here's what could have made it better. It's not just, this thing sucks because it sucks and it's stupid. It's not like that.
Yeah.
So it's those, you have to focus on those things, I think. And I don't care about the lifestyle of the artist, as I said. It's about the music. And if you watch one of my reviews, I mostly talk about song structure, lyrics, how the guitars sound, how the drums sound, things like that. Because that stuff is interesting to me. That's just the way it is.
Mm.
But let us know what you guys think. If you think music criticism has completely fallen away, or if you think it's okay, let us know.
Or maybe you haven't noticed because you've been watching us.
Yeah, yeah. Let us know in the comments what you think. Be sure to subscribe so you know when we post new videos. You can check us out on Twitter and Facebook. Follow John on Twitter @FunkyDutch, and you can. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'm Jeremy Boyd.
I'm John Van Dyke.
Take it easy.